$65 trillion in debt. This is SkyWatchTV for Tuesday, November 10th, 2015. I'm Derek Gilbert. The former Comptroller General of the United States says that our federal deficit is more than 3 times bigger than we think it is. Most media outlets, government spokesmen cite the official figure of $18 trillion when talking about the federal deficit. But Dave Walker, who was head of the Government Accountability Office under Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, says that number doesn't account for the nation's unfunded liabilities, like civilian and military pensions, retiree health care, underfunding for Social Security and Medicare, and other commitments. And when you add those numbers to the $18 trillion, you come up with a total actual deficit of $65 trillion. He also says Americans have lost touch with reality when it comes to spending, and that our debt is making it increasingly difficult to carry out policy initiatives. No kidding. And yet Paul Krugman, New York Times columnist, wrote in August in an op-ed piece that debt is good. Now bear in mind that Krugman is a Nobel Prize-winning economist and a true believer in Keynesian economics. So don't expect public policy to change, because Keynesian economics is basically still what policymakers use to determine how much we should spend. And also, because of that $65 trillion deficit, if and when times get hard, don't expect any help from the government. Well, we finally get to see what's in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The 2,000 pages of the TPP were released by the Obama administration last Thursday. The deal, which some are calling now Obama trade, is catching criticism for both the left and the right. As we've reported, this agreement encompasses 40% of the world's economy and makes U.S. law subject to rulings by unelected TPP tribunals, adjudicated by lawyers who are specialists in global trade, often representing those very companies who would sue a government over lost revenues. Even the AFL-CIO, which is a union that normally supports Democratic Party initiatives, is opposing this deal. And under the fast-track authority that was given to President Obama by Congress, which is controlled by Republicans, remember, our representatives cannot vote to amend the TPP. They cannot filibuster debate over the TPP. And if they don't vote yes or no within a 90-day debate period, President Obama can sign and approve the TPP on his own initiative. Customers at a new IHOP restaurant in Meridian, Mississippi, Saturday night got a little more than what they bargained for. A giant sinkhole opened up in the parking lot, swallowed about 12 cars. This hole measures 374 feet long, 36 feet wide, about 15 feet deep. No injuries, thankfully, but no explanations yet either. This could be the anti-Christian meme of the week. It seems we hardly go a week without a story like this. A new study claims to show that children from religious families are meaner than children from secular households. Scholars from 7 universities around the world studied Christian, Muslim, and non-religious children, and they claim they found that religious belief has a negative influence on children's altruism. They said they studied 1,200 children ages 5 through 12 in the United States, Canada, China, Jordan, Turkey, and South Africa. And the authors of the study claim that the results show that children of religious parents are less altruistic and more judgmental of others. Now, the message we're supposed to receive here, of course, is that religious faith is harmful to children and thus harmful to society as a whole. To say the least, in my opinion, these results are questionable. The story I read doesn't say whether the study controlled for differences between societies, countries, socioeconomic status, or even different beliefs within religions. Roman Catholics are obviously different from independent Baptists. Even within Islam, Sunnis and Shias are different from each other, and even within those divisions, there are subgroups that differ with one another. I would argue that a child from a wealthy Christian home in the United States is going to have a completely different worldview from a Christian child from a poor family in China. So again, the purpose of this study is not to actually find something important about the nature of how to raise children, but to give academic cover, legitimacy, to the idea that religious faith is harmful to children, and someday might be lead to charges of child abuse. News from Rome. This has been leaking out over the past couple of weeks. Pope Francis getting steamed at leaks inside the Vatican. 2 people arrested by the Vatican last week, in fact, a high-ranking official and a woman who works in the public relations department there, for giving sensitive documents to reporters who've got new books that are coming out this week. Both of these people arrested were members of a commission Pope Francis set up a couple of years ago after his election to advise him on reforms inside the Vatican. Now, this is the 3rd time this year that the Vatican has had sensitive documents leaked to the press. The situation is similar to what Pope Benedict went through just before he resigned. Now, some of the revelations in the new books depict the Vatican as a financial sinkhole, basically, in which millions of euros are lost with no accountability, mismanagement and waste responsible. For example, in one new book titled Merchants in the Temple by investigative reporter Gianluigi Nuzzi, donations for the poor are supporting monsignors and cardinals living in luxury. Tax-free pontifical souvenirs are being stolen in large quantities and then resold elsewhere. Free apartments are being given to cardinals and bureaucrats, costing the Vatican revenue. In one case, a monsignor, who was the number 2 man in Vatican City administration, wanted a larger apartment. Now, a poor elderly priest had the apartment on the other side of the wall. The priest was hospitalized, and while he was in the hospital, the Monsignor had the wall between their apartments knocked out, took the room, had it remodeled, and incorporated into his apartment. The priest returned from his hospital stay to find the door to that room blocked off and all of his belongings in boxes. The waste is so bad, according to Nuzzi, that 80% of the donations for the poor coming in from churches around the world, the so-called Peter's Pence Fund, instead of going to the poor, is winding up being used to cover the budget deficit that the Vatican runs every year. The other new book released, Avarice by Emiliano Fittipaldi, reports, among other things, that auditors discovered that a foundation supporting a pediatric hospital in Rome paid 200,000 euros, about $215,000, toward the renovation of an apartment for the former Vatican Secretary of State. Sadly, the Roman Catholic Church is not alone in this type of financial mismanagement. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's just that the Roman Catholic Church is so large that its sins are on much wider display than things happening in smaller denominations. A question being asked in California, what's in your water? People in Sacramento found out over the weekend that the city had tested a new chemical in their water in 2013 and 2014 without telling them. And officials there continued the test, aluminum chlorohydrate, the chemical, even after early results indicated that it was creating a byproduct that the EPA said could cause cancer. And residents were never told about the hazard. Why the test? The city's utility director told reporters there was an expectation we would be able to save quite a bit of money. As we mentioned last week, NASA made an announcement Friday about findings from the planet Mars. Apparently, Mars lost its atmosphere to the sun. The Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution Mission, or MAVEN, is on a 1-year mission to find out what happened to the atmosphere around the planet. And they said that apparently every time the solar wind hits it, Mars loses more of its atmosphere. Most of the water on the planet also disappeared from Mars because of this. See, Mars apparently doesn't have a magnetic field like the Earth. Earth's strong magnetic field serves as essentially a force field against the solar wind and holds the atmosphere in, almost as though it were designed that way. NASA's Dawn probe is getting close to the planetoid Ceres in the asteroid belt. Researchers still curious as to what's causing those mysterious bright spots in the crater. It began a 7-week spiral to a lower orbit last week, moving in from about 915 miles above the planetoid to about 235 miles. Theories about those bright spots include salt flats and cryovolcanoes, volcanoes that emit water or ice. Continuing with the science theme, Bill Nye, the so-called science guy, is adding his voice to the chorus of climate alarmists. This is actually kind of sad. Our daughter loved Bill Nye's show when it was on during the 90s. He made science interesting and fun, helped us instill a love of learning in her. She still thinks he's great. But like too many scientists, he has confused a process for helping to understand the nature of creation into a process, the best process for creating and forming public policy, determining public policy, for determining what you should believe about well, the nature of the universe as well, religion. You might remember the debate he had with Ken Ham of Answers in Genesis last year about evolution. Sadly, because of the new book that Bill Nye is releasing, hits the shelves tomorrow, he's putting a funny, friendly face on technocracy, the belief that science is the only method for determining how we should live. This applies, of course, not just to how much carbon we should emit into the atmosphere, but when you apply it to the transhumanism movement, the only method for determining what the human species should look like 100 years from now. You see, science, to some in academia, is in effect a religion. The transhumanist movement seeks to achieve immortality or apotheosis, virtual godhood, through the application of technology, genetics, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology. And while it's very possible that God may step in and say, no, you are not going to create humanity 2.0, it is deceiving people into placing their faith in technology for salvation rather than in Jesus Christ. And that's why we at SkyWatch TV talk about it so often. In fact, that'll be the topic tonight on SkyWatch TV. Airs at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Central Time on the Christian Television Network, DirecTV Channel 376, Dish Network Channel 267, Glory Star Satellite Channel 117, and later this week on the SkyWatch TV channels on Roku and YouTube. If you don't have satellite television, you can watch it on your laptop or desktop. It's streamed to the internet on the website of the Christian Television Network, and their website is ctnonline.com. The world is changing and changing in a big hurry. Next summer, a conference that is really the go-to conference for 2016, the Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference, brings together experts, more than 24, in the fields of geopolitics and Bible prophecy. July 14th through the 17th in Colorado Springs, speakers like Chuck Missler, Avi Lipkin, Ellie Marzulli, Bill Salas, and many others. Registration is open, but limited to the first 1,000 who register. We hope to see you there. Find information and registration online at prophecywatchers.com. If you have comments, questions, or suggestions on how we can make these programs more interesting or informative to you, please send me a note at dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.
Coming exclusively from SkyWatch TV for a very limited time starting November 17th, 2015. When you purchase the new documentary film Inhuman and the companion book Dead Pets Don't Lie from SkyWatch TV, you'll receive the largest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history. An unprecedented $300 in free books, audio sets, and DVDs to add to your library or to give away as gifts during this holiday season. Included in this limited time giveaway are never-before offered free audio sets. Over 30 hours of the most sought-after interviews in history with global experts combined on a special 2-disc volume set discussing the unfolding genetic Armageddon now underway and what you need to know to survive the future. Featuring Something Transhumanism This Way Comes, The Coming Replacement Humans, The Days of Noah, The Coming Zombie Apocalypse, Conspiracy Theory, Psychotronic Warfare. Also, for a very limited time, in addition to the never-before-offered free best-selling audio sets, if you order before this special offer expires, you'll also receive the multi-part SkyWatch TV special investigative report on Inhuman the documentary and Dead Pets Don't Lie, the award-winning book Forbidden Gates, Pandemonium's Engine, the best-selling DVD by dog behavior expert Joe Artis, The Natural Dog Training Method. The breakthrough book for pet enthusiasts everywhere, Do Our Pets Go to Heaven? 2 additional mystery books with a $40 value. And if you're one of the first 3,000 customers to place your order during this limited time offer, you will also receive, absolutely free, the groundbreaking WorldNet daily film, The Last Pope, featuring Tom Horn. Place your order beginning November 17th, 2015. Altogether, the never-before-offered free 6 full audio series on a 2-disc volume set plus the 5 free books and 2 additional DVDs total an astounding $300 giveaway to add to your library or to give away as gifts during this holiday season. So it's urgent that beginning November 17th, 2015, you order the new documentary film Inhuman and the companion book Dead Pets Don't Lie for only $39.95 to also receive the largest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history. But please understand this offer will end without notification and is on a first-come, first-served basis starting November 17th. So be sure to visit SkyWatchTV.com to follow the countdown to the greatest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history. Order the new documentary film Inhuman and the companion book Dead Pets Don't Lie for only $39.95 to also receive the largest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history.